Hey guys, so it's finally time for that video I've been promising you where I talk about all the fillers that I use. And we also did some new things, and then we also put some old product in new places. I didn't even know you could do this, so thank you, Lisa Williams. Before I go any further, excuse the hair. I pulled it up for demonstration purposes so that we could get a good look at what's going on here. We've got a few stragglers, but we'll deal with that later. So it's no secret that I'm a big fan of injectables. I've been using them for about 15 years. I started with Lisa when I was 32, but I can't stress enough that I'm a big fan of injectables that are done well and that are used conservatively and precisely. When injections are overdone or done improperly, well, we all know what happens and what that looks like. So let's talk a little bit about how to find the right injector. Now, in getting injections done, the most important thing that you need to consider is safety. So you definitely want to do your homework and you want to find a qualified injector. If you live here, you are very, very fortunate because I can't say enough great things about Lisa Williams and Ultra Smooth Skin. They've been doing my face for the last 15 years, like I mentioned, and she does so much continuing education. She's also Black Diamond certified, which I'll get into a little bit later, but that does not come easily. If you don't live here, what I recommend is actually go to the Ultra Smooth Skin website, which is ultrasmoothskin.com, and look at the credentials that Lisa and her team have, and then shop around online in your own area or ask for recommendations. When you have friends that have really good work done, then ask them who they saw, because finding the right person, finding someone who's safe, that's probably 90% of this. Now, because I like to talk about this so much and be super open about my injectables, one thing that people ask me all the time, well, is it better to go to a plastic surgeon, or why don't you think it's better to go to a plastic surgeon? I'm not saying a plastic surgeon can't do fillers well. I know some who do. But in cosmetology school, which is usually considered hair, the hairstylists learn a little tiny bit about nails. They are technically able to do manicures, but they don't usually cover acrylics and specialty things like that. So you're not really gonna go for a set of Cardi B nails to a hairstylist that's not really her specialty. So it's kind of the same thing with fillers. A lot of times, if your plastic surgeon does a lot of body work, they are qualified to do injectables and they may be heavy-handed. Their money is made on the operating table, and placing a few injections, they might just do a few areas with a heavy hand, and that doesn't get you that super natural, detailed look. And I think that's the best look. But when you see someone who's an injector, like I said, you've done your homework and they're qualified, then that's their specialty and that's what they're gonna be best at. So again, if I didn't have Lisa Williams, I would still go to somebody who focused on doing just merely injections because that's their specialty. Okay, now for the fun stuff. For me, I personally most frequently use Botox, and I get it through my forehead. I get it through these little crinkly lines. See, I can't do it, but I do have movement, and that's another thing to think about. I love seeing Lisa because she's conservative. So she will start, and if I need a little more, I need a little touch up, I'll go back in a week or so. If it's your first time, it generally takes about 2 weeks to really fully settle in. So don't panic also if one side of your face is reacting to the Botox a little quicker than the other. It should settle in just fine. But I do like doing it conservatively in general, but I like the fact that I know Lisa isn't gonna go overboard, and it's always better to have to go back for a little more than have too much. So I have Botox through here, through here. I have a little bit of Botox in the lip area. You don't want too much there either. The food you eat will fall right out of your mouth and you won't be able to drink. I mean, maybe that's good if you're trying to lose an extra 5 pounds, but it's not a cute look at all. And then that's about it for where we usually put my Botox. Every couple of years, I'm gonna say like 5, I actually get some filler done. So the places I've had filler, about 15 years ago when we first started, I always just had deep marionette lines. That's just how my face was. It wasn't necessarily an age thing, but we filled those in and we haven't touched them since. They're only kind of creeping back now, but that's fine. We don't want to get too plastic looking. I have had the corners of my mouth about every 5 years turned up, and we did that this last time. Because as you age, it kind of start to look like an angry bass. And I will periodically get some filler in this area for my jowls. However, we did not do that this time, so take a good look. It's hard to see, but you can kind of see it. We're going to do that next time. We were doing so many other fun things this last time, and honestly, it's not like my face is hanging down over the floor and I'm tripping over it. But that's what you also want to keep in mind. It's nice to start this. You can start it at any age. It works. It's wonderful. But the less product you have to use, and it's preventative, and the more you keep up with it, especially the Botox, the muscles atrophy. And so then you don't have to keep getting it as frequently. So in the very beginning, I had to get it, gosh, every 3 months. And now I'm up to about every 6 months or so. And when it wears off, it's not nearly as obvious as it used to be. Another word about Botox. I mentioned earlier that one of the reasons I like seeing an injector, and particularly Lisa, is because unlike plastic surgeons who might be heavy-handed, an injector that specializes will usually do very small, a lot of injections, but very small amounts that are tailored to your needs. So there are so many different ways to use Botox. They can use Botox to lift the brow, they can lower the brow. If your brows are uneven, that can be accomplished. There are also some really neat uses, like to get rid of headaches and migraines. I don't do it for that. I was straight up vain, and I'll admit that. But I will say, I get less headaches when I can tell my Botox is wearing off, because I'll feel the tension in my forehead. And then when I do have fresh Botox, it's just like, whoa, I feel so much better. You can also use it for excessive sweating. I've heard that people get it under the arms and in the bottoms of their feet. So there's really a lot you can do. This last time, we actually, one of the areas that was new for me is we did my jaw. So I don't know if I grind my teeth at night. I wear a mouth guard for a whole different beauty reason. That's a different video. But I also chew gum. I know it's so tacky, but I love it. And so these muscles on me were really developed. I actually don't mind them, but Lisa was doing a teaching and showing how that you can use, it was actually Dysport that was putting me in this time. And so these muscles were relaxed. Now, Dysport for me doesn't work as well and as long as Botox. And I always get people asking what the difference is. They're very similar. They're just two different products. One is a little cheaper, but you often need a little more. And so they're really comparably priced. And it's just something that you're gonna have to figure out what works best with your body. So we did put some in my jaw. It's fine. I can tell when I bite down, it doesn't feel as pronounced, but I don't really care about that. So as cool as it was to get it, that's not something I'm gonna be addicted to. As for filler, I also once in a while get my lips, like every 5 years, Lisa will replace just the amount of the volume that I've lost. And when she does that, along with, you may have heard of the lunchtime lip lift with Botox, where you relax these little areas here and a little bit of filler, it just gives such a natural, plump look without looking like a duck or overdone. This time, we used Kysse, Kysse by Restalyne, and what's so exciting is that they're constantly coming out with different viscosities of products. So there used to just be some really hard things out there, and now Kysse is one of the lighter weight products that feels really natural. I think it looks really natural. Lisa knows that I am such a stickler. I don't want that big giant Scottsdale big lips and scared eyes, and it's horrific. I don't want that, no. So she used Kysse, and if you look from the side, it gives a real natural little flip, kind of balances out my face, and anything that I've just lost with age and time. But again, I don't want to go too crazy with that. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. The other thing we did is we used Restylane Lift, and we put it in my cheeks. So not here, these are my cheeks. These are my chipmunk cheeks, have always been there. But along this area, right along the bone, the Restylane Lift was injected. And that's really nice for if you've got some sagging skin and you're trying to pull it up. I really like it. I don't know when I'll have to do that again because I tend to maintain my filler. I go through Botox like there's no tomorrow. Well, at least in the beginning. Like I said, now I don't so much because I've kept it up. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to wait for it to all wear off. You want to keep up with it. So I like it, but we'll see if I'll keep doing that. I hope this video has been helpful. Please don't hesitate to DM me if you have any questions. You can also go to ultrasmoothskin.com, and Lisa's staff is there to answer any of your questions you might have as well. And don't forget, hang on to the end of this video because we do have a picture of my lip half done, which is kind of cool. There's no needles, so don't worry, nothing further squeamish. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys, and thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.